Alright, so at this point we should be roughly in hour 8, so you should be finishing your programming at this point and then working on creating your responses. So today for a good goal would be to obviously finish your programming if you haven't done that yet, and then we want to record a video of your program running and complete response 3A. So before we look at how we're going to record the video, it's might be helpful if you scroll down a little bit in your Create PT and double check the things that need to be in the video. So it needs to include input to your program, at least one aspect of the functionality of your program. So remember, not necessarily every aspect of your code has to work flawlessly, just the parts that you're going to be talking about in your written responses. So at a bare minimum, you want to make sure that that main function with the parameter, the for loop, and the if statement works correctly. Must be an MP4, the AVI or movie format. Yours will be that. It will work out. Must not exceed 1 minute in length and must not be larger than 30 megabytes. So if you decide to work with a partner, you have to work on this part by yourself. Your video must not contain any information distinguishing you, and your video must not be narrated. So you can use text captions, I guess, if you wanted to. So if you want to do that, you can, but it's not completely necessary, I wouldn't say. So anyway, what you're going to want to do is, if we go to code.org, or even in Schoology, where it says video of code for one of the assignments that's coming up for that December 2nd due date, I put some tips in here. So students are required to make your video. One, if you're using a desktop, the Screencast-O-Matic would work good, or this Windows one. So what I use to record these lessons is the Screencast-O-Matic. However, if you're using your iPad, that would be another good option, is if you can just like open up your video and then just screen record on your iPad would also work fine. So really, you have a lot of freedom with how you're going to do this, but I would suggest, like, if you do have a desktop available to you, it's a little bit easier to use the Screencast-O-Matic because you can kind of crop your video to what area of the screen that you want it to do. So just the options. It's if you're doing it for the College Board, and we need to work on that part when we come back to school, that would be okay. But just make sure at a bare minimum that you at least screen record your app running on your iPad for the time being, so you can submit it, okay? And if we need to re-record it for the College Board, that's fine. So anyway, if you go to the code.org unit for this too, if you need a little bit more clarification on how to do that, in the lesson 3 where you're building your app, they have this text setup page, and it goes through. I think there's a couple more options as far as creating no, that was about it. I thought there was a couple more, but there's not. So anyway, like I said, just at a minimum, make sure that you record on your iPad, and that should be good enough. And then you're going to record your answers to 3A. So in your written response template, so also if we go to Schoology here, we do have that written response template, so you can find that on the right here. And you're going to want to download that. So after you record your video, it says approximately 150 words for all subparts of 3A combined. So these can be, that's pretty short, right? Describe the overall purpose of the program, so you go through and answer that. Describe what functionality the video illustrates, so what's actually happening in the video, so what's the function of the app, and then describe what the inputs and the outputs of the program shown in the video are, and then you're going to discuss those a little bit further. So I would really just focus on the main function. So you want to bring everything back to that main function with the parameters, the processing of your list, and all of those types of things. So that's the main part that you want to focus on here. All right, let me know if you have any questions.